Welcome back, Bluegrass Sports Podcast, the Bluegrass Sports Podcast, episode number 15. There we go. I just want to thank you all for tuning in last episode, and thank you all for tuning in this episode as well. We're going to be talking about the Louisville Kings after their Week 9 win, and we're also going to be talking about college baseball and the conference postseason. But first, my name is Keesee, the discussion lead for this podcast.
My name is Tyler Cade, the University of Kentucky analyst.
My name is DJ Wright, University of Louisville analyst. Hey, we're still getting back here.
Yeah, we're just going to talk a lot about the Kings because they're about to reach postseason and they have one more week of the regular season left. And then after today, things changed a lot when it came to the playoff picture. So first, I'm going to talk about the game. Then I'm going to let you two talk about the playoff picture and how things changed, okay? So the Louisville Kings played the Dallas Renegades today, and they won with the final score of 37-23, and this improved the Kings' record to 5-4. Now, I do believe the Kings were a lot better team than the Renegades, but the game was close for a majority of the game, and then the Kings ran off with it towards the end. I'm going to give you some stats on offense. Obviously, with the quarterback Chandler Rogers, he went 16 for 21. He had 266 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, and his completion rating was a 76, with his QB rating of 149.9. Oh, sorry. 149.4. I thought that said 9. Still, anytime that QB rating is that high, it's crazy. He had a really good game. 2 touchdowns, over 250 passing yards. His completion rating was at 76%. That's phenomenal. That's exactly what I would want out of my quarterback. Looking into the rushing, leading the way is Ian Wheeler. He didn't have the most attempts, but he had the most yards. Ian Wheeler had 13 attempts and 93 yards with a touchdown. And then James Robinson also had a good day. He had 22 attempts and 88 yards. And then also for the rushing, you have Chandler Rogers getting out of the pocket. He had 7 rushing attempts and 21 yards with a rushing touchdown. And then Tariq Black had a rushing attempt and only got 3 yards. So really good rushing day for the Kings. And then as you can see, for the receiving game, you have Tariq Black with 4 receptions, 82 yards, and a touchdown. Zach Davidson with 4 receptions and 46 yards. Isaiah Winstead with 2 receptions, 44 yards, and a touchdown. And you have Lucky Jackson and Cade Prather with both 1 reception. Jackson had 31 yards, and Prather had 28 yards. And then Ian Wheeler had 2 receptions with 21 yards, and then James Robinson had 2 receptions with 21 yards. So a great day for the offense. As you can see, just killing it on all levels. And then I also wanted to highlight the defense. You know, they didn't really hold the Renegades to a low score by no means, but there's a lot of solo tackles throughout the team. Well, we also like to talk about Cam Gill with 2 sacks, and then you got Cameron Dantzler with 2 pass breakups, and then for solo tackles you have Xavier Carlson, Mekhi Garner, Travis Bell, and Jaheim Thomas all leading the way. So that's what it looks like for the defense. Also looks like there was an interception. I apologize, I missed that. Eric Guerrier, he had the 1 interception on the team, and he also had a pass breakup in that process. So, you know, very well performed team. A great performance against the Dallas Renegades for the Louisville Kings. Like I said, they're 5-4 now. Now, looking ahead to their schedule, it looks like they are going to play the Columbus Aviators on Week 10. I can't find that real quick. Yeah, Columbus Aviators on Week 10. This is the last regular season game. They will play in Columbus. It will be Sunday, May 31st at 6 p.m. And it will be aired on Fox. Now, if you all aren't going to the game and you can't air it on Fox, you can't access Fox, you can follow us on socials and we'll post the final score. Ty, can you remind our fans of the socials?
Yeah, we have Bluegrass Sports Podcast for Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, YouTube, and Facebook. And then for our socials, Instagram, TikTok, X, and Threads, it's BG Sports Podcast.
Well, there you go. Now I'm gonna ask you all some questions. Well, I'm not really gonna ask. I'm gonna just tell the fans like now the Kings are 5-4, and now the playoff picture has changed. And obviously on the Kings' social media, they posted earlier in the week that the rooting guide that the Kings fans should be rooting for us to get in playoffs. They asked us to root for the Orlando Storm, who won, and they asked us to root for the Aviators, who we play next, to root for them for this past week, and they also won. So both the Storm and the Aviators both won their games in Week 9, and so did the Kings. So Ty, kind of talk about where the Kings are now, and then DJ could give his opinion on that too.
So now the Kings are in a good spot here. Obviously it's a much needed win with this victory today. It really set them ahead in a good position. With the Defenders losing, it set them at third in the UFL standings. So really either one of two things need to happen this upcoming week. The Kings really need to win, but if they lose, they're still in contention if the Defenders lose. So, well, actually, the Stallions just have to lose. Because if the Defenders win, the Defenders will move to 3. The Stallions have to lose. And then, all they need is for the Stallions to lose, and then, they're in the playoffs. But here's the thing. You need to win.
Yeah.
You need to be 6-4 heading into postseason, into the playoffs. You need to win. Obviously, you're playing the Columbus Aviators. They are 3-6, so it's a bad look if you lose that game because they're at the bottom of the list in the standings. And I do want to note that looking at this is just the official UFL stat page or whatever, but the Louisville Kings had the highest strength of schedule. So that's something to note. And
they're 5-4.
Yes. And now we do know they came 0-3 their first 3 games ever as a franchise. Since then, they are now 5-1. Yes, 5-1. So they've won 5 of their last 6 games. So they're the hottest team in the league right now. I'd say you can't negotiate that, obviously the Storm are number 1.
There are only 2 teams with 3 win streak right now, and that's the Storm and the Kings.
Yep.
Okay, you all can't lie. I'm pretty sure it was against, and I know it was against the Storm, is when that one game the Kings played the Storm and that penalty was enforced where they automatically lost due to the penalty.
Oh yeah,
that's not a rule anymore, and that was against the Storm. So the Kings possibly could have won that game and could be 6-4 instead, and that could have shaken up the standings as well.
You're right.
But because of that rule that's no longer in place, we're in this situation where the Storm are number 1.
Could have been tied with the Storm as well. They're 7-2. One more a loss from them would have put us the same as them. So
now I do want to say if the St. Louis Battlehawks lose tonight, which they are currently 5-3, if they lose, they will be 5-4 and on the verge of being out of the playoffs. So they could lose their spot. That could push the Kings up if they win next week into that 1 and 2 seed, or not 1 seed, but 2 seed. That's really where the Kings want to be. So. Really?
I have a question though. Sorry to interrupt. I did have a question about the playoff. I guess I would say where they would place. Now, if the Stallions were to win and the Kings were to lose, and teams were 5-5, what would be the deciding factor of getting into the playoffs? Because we obviously know it's a 4-team playoff. What would be the deciding factor if teams are 5-5 going into that?
It's all about who plays who. So say. What is the Kings' record against the Stallions? Because the Kings are above the Defenders because they beat the Defenders twice.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to think. I'm trying to remember.
They lost for the Stallions. They faced them week 1, lost for the Stallions.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
13 and 15, and,
And that's
then
it.
I'm
That's the only
pretty
time
sure
they
that's the only time they played. Correct.
Yeah.
So they need.
Let's
Yeah,
go to the Stallions.
I believe the Stallions would be placed over the Kings in
Okay.
that aspect. So,
Because it's just kind of hard to figure that out, too, because, there's a bunch of
right.
teams that could possibly be, the same record at the end of the season.
I mean, there's only 8 teams in the league too, so it's hard to you have 4 teams in, 4 teams at you're on the verge of there's teams gonna have the same record at 4, 5, 6, or 3, 4, 5. Like they're all pretty much gonna have the same record. So, I mean, I don't. Yeah.
Okay,
But-
so how confident are you all of the Kings making the playoffs, being in the Final Four spots after the way things looked in Week 9?
I'm very confident.
I am very confident because of who they're playing,
Yeah.
and the Kings are hot. So,
Well, I know we're all pulling for them. First season as a Louisville Pro team. It would be huge for the city and huge for UFL. Louisville put their mark in the UFL saying, hey, we've only been here a year and we've already made the playoffs on a 14 format. So that'd be pretty impressive. I know we talked about that last episode, but we're one step closer to actually happening and becoming reality.
and just a reminder, you need to show support. Get in playoffs, show your support. Everybody in Louisville, everybody in Kentucky, show support. This is our sign to move forward and getting a professional team,
Dude, if
top
the
professional
Kings
team.
make the playoffs, I'm going to go buy me a Kings jersey. I'm going to get that hat from Utah, and then I'm going to buy me this $30 Kings chain I found on Facebook Marketplace, and it lights up and everything. I'm going to be there ready. I'm not going to be in DC, but I'll be in front of my TV screen rooting on the Kings.
Drew, we kind of know who makes them, through people.
Yeah.
We know people through people who make that chain that you're talking about. So we might be.
You gotta get one of those
We'll
chains
see.
that got K on it that you can just spin.
Got to.
I
And it's
might.
got- Dazzled.
Need like a Kings championship, like a WWE.
Yes,
belt.
like a WWE belt you can just spin. I'm fire.
That's great. But we'll have to keep you updated on how Week 10 goes. Just know the Kings are in a really good spot at the moment to make the playoffs. You just got to win. I agree that if you win, you're in. That's kind of the situation you're at.
If they win, they're 100% in. But you gotta win.
Got to beat the Aviators, and I think Ty said they were last in the standings. Were they 3-6 at the moment? So
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. But I will say they are 3-1 at home. So
that's not good.
and the Kings play them at home. So
And
obviously they're 0-5 on the road.
Have a better record away.
And
than
it would be the Kings' first time facing this team as well. So you
Yeah,
don't know how this game's going to go.
I mean the Kings are like DJ said, the Kings are 3-1 on the road. So the Aviators are 3-1 at home.
Road Warriors.
Yeah,
Warriors. I mean, come on now.
the Kings like to come in and take over their home. But
Take over your trap.
okay, all right.
All right, now
That's it.
we'll be rooting on them in Week 10. But now we're going to move on to college baseball. This will be the last topic we're talking about in this episode. It'll be a little shorter, but as we promised, we're going to deep dive into the conference series for these teams. So if you all paid attention, you have the race, the Murray State Racers, and you have the WKU Tops. They are the Hilltoppers. Those two teams, they've actually went further than the rest of the Bluegrass State teams. Obviously, we talked about EKU last week. They didn't make their conference tournament. But we'll talk about Murray State first, and then Ty will talk about WKU, DJ will talk about Louisville's game, and Ty will talk about Kentucky's game. And then I'll have to look while they're talking when we'll find out who makes regionals, because I'm pretty sure I don't think Louisville's making it, and Kentucky's on the fence at the moment. And Murray State might make it, WKU might make it. I'll just have to see when it is, and then when the official announcement comes out, I'll let everybody know on socials. But I'm just going to go ahead and cover Murray State's games. So at the moment, overall record's 33-27. They made their conference tournament obviously as a 3 seed, as I discussed the other last podcast episode, and they played a total of 4 games in this tournament. Round 1, they played Illinois State, and they won 6-4. Murray State Racers, they had 6 runs, 11 hits, no errors, so pretty clean game, good offensive game for the Racers. As I'll look at some hitting stats, you'll have Connor Chisholm going 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs. And then another good performance you have is Connor Cunningham going 2 for 4. And you have Dalen Pena going, I thought it said 2 for 2. Sorry, it's 0 for 2. Whoops. You have Anthony Puritano. He went 2 for 3. And you have Colby Ott going 2 for 4. Now, on the mound, you have Nick Shute. He pitched the whole game. He pitched 9 innings. He allowed 7 hits. He allowed 4 runs, 4 earned runs, 4 walks, but he had 6 strikeouts. And solid game. Way to go the full race. Like, that's pretty hard to do, especially in a conference tournament as a starting pitcher to go to full game. So, props to him. Now, the next round, after they won round 1, they advanced to round 2. The Murray State Racers played Indiana State, and they took the win 3-2. As the Racers had 3 runs, 3 hits, and no errors. So this looked like it was a pitching duel, as there was hardly any hits. Indiana State had 4, Murray State had 3. So the people who got hits, Luke Mistone went 1 for 3. Kenyon Jorge went 2 for 4. And then that was really it for the hitting. And then when you look at the pitching, the starter was Jacob Husted. He pitched 7 innings, allowed 3 hits, and 2 earned runs with 2 walks, but he had 8 strikeouts. So that is amazing. And then when you have the bullpen coming in, you have Ben Rosen. He pitched about just almost 2 innings, a little less than that, but he allowed only 1 hit and he had 3 strikeouts, so it had to come in and shut it down. Now, they won round 2, so they advanced to round 3, and in round 3 they took the loss. Now, this is a double elimination tournament, so they weren't done after this game, but they did lose this game. Murray State lost 5-6 against UIC. Murray State had 5 runs and 9 hits, just lost by 1. Had the same amount of hits as UIC, but they also had an error. So I'm looking at some stats. You have Luke Minson going 2 for 4. Kenyon Jorge going 2 for 5. Chris Hokinson going 2 for 4. And then Dalen Pena going 1 for 3. Parker Earhart going 1 for 3 as well. And then for the pitcher that game, you have multiple that come in from Murray State. So you have the starter being Drew Dermer. He only pitched 2 innings. He had 6 hits and 4 runs, 3 earned runs. He had a walk and no strikeouts, so not the greatest performance out of him. Then coming in for him, you have Carter Boyd that pitched 2 innings with only allowing 1 run, which would be an earned run. And then he had 1 walk, only 1 strikeout. And then after him was Derek LeBron. And he pitched a little over 1 inning, allowing 2 hits, 1 run, and having 1 strikeout. And then the closer, as I mentioned a couple games before, was Ben Rosen. He pitched a little under 3 innings with allowing 1 hit and 1 walk. And then since they lost, they had 1 more shot to make it to the championship, but they lost to Southern Illinois 9-7. The final team stats for this game, you have Murray State having 7 runs on 5 hits with 1 error. You have, for the hitting stats, you have Chris Hawkinson with 1 hit and 4 at-bats. He went 1 for 4. Dalen Pena, he went 1 for 3. Anthony Puritano went 1 for 4. And Colby Ott went 1 for 4. So that would be it for the offense. And then for the pitching, you have a lot of pitchers as the Murray State Racers are trying, stay active, stay alive in this conference tournament. Jacob Rodigan started for I think it's Rodigan or Rodigan started for the Racers. He only pitched one inning, allowing 2 hits on 1 run, 2 strikeouts. Then after him came in Reese Oakley. He pitched 2 innings, 5 hits, 4 runs, and 2 strikeouts. You have Dylan Zinko. He pitched 1 inning with he only allowed 2 hits and 2 walks with a strikeout. And then Jackson Ugo came in. He didn't make it out of the first inning that he pitched. He allowed 1 hit, 2 runs, and he hit 1 person. Then Josh Fleming didn't last the inning either. So as you can see, this is constant pitching struggles for the Racers. Josh Fleming he allowed 2 hits and 1 run, 2 walks. And then the last person that came in to pitch was Kane Elmy. You have him pitching over 3 innings, so he would be your main pitcher that pitched along this game. He allowed 1 hit, 1 run, which would be an earned run. He allowed 1 walk, but he had 4 strikeouts, so by far the best pitcher for the Racers that day. Now, that would be it for the Racers conference play tournament, as they made it decently, far compared to the rest of the Bluegrass State. Tyler's going to talk about WKU here in a second, but we'll just have to see if the Racers make the regional postseason. If they don't, that's still a good season from them. They made the World Series last year. They won their conference tournament last year, so they're always competitive. If this is the end for them, we'll just have to see what they do next year, but by far a great season. Hopefully they make regionals. Now, Ty, can you go ahead and break down Murray State's conference tournament?
Yeah, so for EKU, they are in Conference USA, but in their conference tournament, it's very odd system how it worked. We kind of broke it down yesterday how there was Pool A, Pool B, Pool C, and how WKU was like second in that pool, in Pool A. So it is very odd. Basically, WKU really needed to win both of these games, Game 1 and Game 2. Now, going into the first game, they played Middle Tennessee. So, must-win game against a lower – they were ranked number 9, so in this tournament, by the way. So, number 9 in Conference USA. Now, let's see. Going into the first inning, they were scoreless. Going into the second inning, Middle Tennessee held scoreless. Western Kentucky scored 3 runs. So, good start, getting off to a hard start here. I'll go through the stats in here in just a second, but I like to run through the game like inning by inning to see what's happening. So, into the third inning, great pitching performance continues. 1 run in the bottom of the third that puts them up 4-0. Same thing in the fourth with no runs. 2 runs in the bottom of the fourth, 2 runs in the bottom of the fifth. So that puts them up at that point 8-0. And then WKU is scoreless from there. Middle Tennessee did put up 2 runs in the top of the 8th, but however, wasn't even close to being able to come back and win. Now, I do want to give major props to Perry for pitching 8 innings. He only allowed 2 runs in the top of the 8th. But, great pitching performance from him for going 8 innings, allowing 2 runs. Now, Lawson came in the top of the 9th, closed it out, no hits, clean inning, great closing performance. Now, I do want to talk about the hitters for just a second. So, Holler actually had 2 hits and 2 runs in this game on 5 at-bats. Howard had 1 hit. Let me see the other. Ross actually had 1 hit, 2 RBIs, and 2 runs. Frost had 2 hits, 1 run. Stewart had 2 hits, 2 RBIs, 1 run. Coley had 2 hits, 1 RBI, 2 runs. And that was pretty much a just overall great hitting performance, great pitching performance. This is exactly what you need. Now, I will say Middle Tennessee wasn't highly ranked in Conference USA as they're like number 9. I believe WKU is number 5 in this tournament. So, there's that. Now, as they won this game, they moved on to face number 1 ranked Jacksonville State. So Jacksonville State was ranked number 1 in Conference USA. This game was very close. I'll say that. Very interesting. But outcome wasn't what WKU wanted. Now, I will say in the first inning, WKU put up a run to go ahead. Jacksonville State came back, put up 2 runs. WKU puts up 2 runs in the top of the second. Jacksonville State held scoreless in the bottom of the second. So that score right now is 3-2 WKU. WKU doesn't score in the third. Jacksonville State scores in the third. Same thing in the fourth. So Jacksonville State puts up 1 run in the third, 1 run in the fourth. WKU is held scoreless for those 2. So the score is now 5-3 there. Or 4-3, sorry. 4-3 going into the 5th. WKU puts up a run. So now that's 4-4. Heading to the top of the 7th. Here's where it gets kind of interesting because teams get hot. WKU puts up 4 runs. So they're 8-4 heading into the bottom of the 7th. Jacksonville State answers with 5 runs. So 8-9. 8-9 heading into the top of the 8th. WKU puts up 2. 10-9. So back and forth. Jacksonville State puts up 1 run. They're tied at 10. 10-10. 10-10 heading to the top of the 9th. WKU puts up a run. 11-10. Bottom of the 9th. Unfortunately, Jacksonville State scores on a walk-off single. So that goes – well, they scored 2 runs. So 2-run inning, they walk it off on a single. Now, I will say the pitching performance, obviously, as you could expect, a lot of pitchers switched in and out. There was actually a total of 7 pitchers in this game. That was for WKU. There was also 6 pitchers for Jacksonville State, but besides the point. Obviously, pitching could have been better, but with both teams going back and forth, it was good to see that WKU could put up a good fight against the number 1 team in their conference. Now, I do want to give props to King for getting 3 hits, 2 RBIs, 2 runs. Blauser got 2 hits, 2 RBIs, 2 runs. Those are the main 2 guys that stood out. They were very good in this game. They kept WKU in play, kept them rolling. Now, with that being said, obviously Jacksonville State takes the win. Unfortunate because they couldn't advance due to how this kind of conference tournament was. It was very odd. Obviously, I don't know if y'all have seen it before, but I haven't personally. Pool A, Pool B, Pool C, and then they play each other, and then obviously if Jacksonville State won both of their games, so they advance automatically. So I guess basically if you win both your games in that pool, you're gonna advance or whatever. But obviously really weird, But WKU is out after pool play. But I will say, going on from that, let's see what happened. Because I believe, on good news, Jacksonville State won it all. So obviously to see a good fight EKU put up against a great fight against the number 1 seed who won the conference
Did you
tournament.
say EKU or WKU?
Did I say EKU? I meant
Yeah, I
WKU.
think you did.
Oh.
Yeah. I was just making sure. You're good.
I'm here.
Well, Western Kentucky. I'll just say that. Western Kentucky. But yeah, so I mean that's really all I have to talk about with them. I mean, obviously want a different result, but they made the most of it. So
All right. Well, DJ, if you want to go ahead and talk about Louisville baseball's game, I think they played Pitt, and then Ty, you could talk about UK's game versus Vandy, and then I'll have the. I know when regionals and stuff will when they'll announce all that, so I'll mention that at the end, and then we'll wrap things up. So, DJ, take away with Louisville baseball versus Pitt.
Okay. So for those of you that watched, for those of you that's seen on our stories, Louisville obviously took the loss, 16-8. It was a miserable game, I will say. No matter what the 8 shows up on the board for the Cards, it was a miserable game in general. Pitching was horrendous. It was atrocious. But I'll go ahead and explain to you a little bit about the game. So Louisville started Wyatt Daniel-Nowitzki, who is 4-3 on the year. He pitched quite a bit through the regular season. Obviously, we've seen him. I said his name quite a bit. And sadly, he started off letting off 5 runs in the first inning. That's obviously never what you want to see. And yeah, but then we move in Louisville into the second inning, put up 5 runs against Antonio. His last name is a little awkward. Doganero, like a little Italian name there. Little bit difficult to say, but Louisville did end up putting up 5 runs right there to tie the ball game. Moving on, Louisville decided to keep in Wyatt until the 4th inning, where Pittsburgh hit a 3-run home run off of him while he walked. I think he walked the 2 runners, and then they hit a 3-run bomb, and they let up 6 runs in that inning, which was very depressing, obviously, which brought them up 11-5. And from there, they just continued to bat it down, and just hit all over us in every single way, shape, or form. I mean, every single ball they hit was down, and we walked a lot of runners. And you can't do that in a ball game if you want to win, especially in a tournament game. That's going to get you down big. I mean, it's going to get guys in scoring position, and it's obviously going to ruin your team. But Louisville did try to fight back after that. Besides the other 4 innings they put up in the 5th inning after they put up that 6 to get them up 15-5. But besides that, Louisville did try to fight back in the 7th to keep them out of the run roll. Scored 1, which brought it to 15-6. And then Pittsburgh scored 1 in the 8th. Louisville scored 2 in the 8th. And that was pretty much it. There was nothing else the Cards could do to fight back. Obviously, sitting there hoping and praying that the Cards could do something to be able to overcome. But obviously, that deficit is a pretty hard steep to overcome there. But I'll go over some stats for you guys here. So Zion Rose went 3 for 5 with 3 RBIs. Griffin Crane went 1 for 4 with 2 runs and an RBI. Cade Davis went 1 for 5 with 2 RBIs. Jimmy Nugent went 1 for 3 with 2 runs. Lucas Moore went 2 for 3. He was our best bat on the team then. Besides obviously Zion Rose, who's got the 3. But Lucas Moore's been good all season. Just fantastic outfielder, playing the field, beautifully. But he went 2 for 3 with 2 runs. Zach Davis had a run, no hits, but just a run. And then Alex Alicia had 2 hits with 4 at-bats. It's just a very depressing team to see. It was obviously the score showed, but if you guys had watched the game after the 2nd inning, Louisville looked like they had shut down. Obviously, the pitchers looked like they had shut down, but I'll go ahead and give you the pitchers as well, along with Wyatt Daniel-Nowitzki, who started. Brandon Shannon came in, Ty Stark, Jack Brown, Aaron England, and Shane Stahl came in and closed out that game right there. Now, obviously, it's never what you want to see, down 10 runs going into the 5th inning. And I'll give you some teams, some stats from these guys here. I want to give a big shout out to Trey Fenderson from Pitt, who has out of nowhere came out shining within this playoff game. Went 3 for 5 with 2 bombs. Hit a bomb in the first inning and hit that 3-run in the fourth inning to bring them up that big. So he played fantastic, and I want to give a shout out to David Leslie on Pitt for shutting down Louisville for most of the game. After Antonio came out after the second inning, they put in David Leslie, and we had no answer for him. There was nothing we could do. He was dicing our guys up, striking them out, no walks. I mean, this guy had limited amount of walks, which obviously is the reason why the score shows what it does. And I said it last episode that if Louisville fixed their pitching and kept hitting how they hit, then Louisville would get the W. And I said before that no one can hit with Louisville. Louisville is one of the best hitting teams in the entire NCAA, and we put up 8 runs. Like that, and we allowed 16. So obviously, the hitters could have done a little better, I guess, in the sense. But 8 runs is still great. I mean, you look at the MLB, always, 8's a high scoring number. But Pitt just had all the answers that we couldn't find within that game. So it was very depressing to see. And obviously, you never want to lose a game like that, and especially the first round of the ACC tournament, and couldn't make it anywhere else. But I do want to give a little for the ACC championship, little extend to it. Congratulations to Georgia Tech, who ended up bringing down North Carolina. Pitt actually ended up going to play. They beat Wake Forest next, and then they faced North Carolina, which then took the loss. So Pitt did travel a decent bit far. So congratulations to Pitt as well for making it to the semis. And they beat Florida State as well. Sorry, Pitt. Forgot to mention you guys beat Florida State as well. So they beat 3 teams to make it, and end up facing North Carolina and taking the loss. So very depressing to see, but obviously big shout out to the Cards at least for going 30-27. Had a great regular season. A lot of players, a lot of ups and a lot of downs. Biggest shout out to Cade Davis for his record-breaking season. Best in the ACC, and I think he was tied for 9th in the most home runs in a single season. So hats off to him. Big congrats, and I hope we see him get drafted into the next year's draft and continue on with his reign playing baseball. So yeah, congratulations to the Cards.
Hey Todd, can we cue the claps for Cade Davis's crazy season, please? That's not easy to do at all, and I feel like that deserves some recognition. So, Todd, now you can go ahead with Kentucky baseball and talk about the result against Vanderbilt.
Yeah, so obviously we probably all heard the sad news. Kentucky got eliminated first round against Vanderbilt. Now, as we walk through this game, I will say pitching was a struggle for Kentucky, but it's really only one inning that kind of killed them. Well, 2 innings, but one set them back. Now, I will say, okay, Jackson Jokin had a great first 4 or 5 innings pitching, only held them to 1 run. Now, I'm going to say first inning, Kentucky scored 1 run. Second inning, no runs. Kentucky scored in the third. They were up 2-1 going into the fourth. Kentucky scored in the fourth and fifth. So they were up 4-1 going into the 6th inning, sorry. So from there, 4-1. Kentucky kind of allowed Jackson Jokin to throw too much. They kind of caught on to how he was throwing. And early in the 6th, they scored 4 runs. So that set Kentucky back a lot. So at that point, it's Vanderbilt 5, Kentucky 4. Now, 7th inning was scoreless. 8th inning was where Vanderbilt kind of took off again. They scored 3 runs in the bottom of the 8th, and obviously it's not what you want. I wish there was a pitching change a little bit sooner, but it is what it is. Kentucky scores 1 run in the top of the ninth, but obviously it's not enough to. You needed 4 to go into extras, or to hope to go into extras after holding them in the bottom of the ninth. But that closes the game 5-8 with Vanderbilt taking the win. Now, I do want to give props to Jackson Jelkin all season long. He's been very good pitching. I do think that was kind of just a coaching error. I'm not going to blame that on him because he went 5 innings, only allowing 1 run. So, there's that. Now, I do want to say that, Tyler Bill had an amazing game with 2 hits, 1 RBI, 2 runs. Let's see. Hansen had 2 hits, 1 run, 1 RBI. Cloud had a run. Marcy had a run. Yeah, so, I think it was an overall good hitting performance for Kentucky, but obviously the pitching, the coaching, But I do want to say there was a funny moment that DJ would probably. So whenever DJ has something to say about it, I'll let him say it in just a second. But basically, whenever the pitcher was throwing to, I believe was it Tyler Bill at that point? No, it wasn't. It was
I'm pretty sure it was Hansen. It was Hansen at the time.
It was Hansen, I believe.
Okay. Yes, you're right. Yes. Okay. So he pitcher was like really cocky on the mound. What was he saying? He was saying like,
"Oh, come on, you guys got this."
He said, "You're effing mine."
Yeah. He
said,
"You're effing mine," but obviously we're not saying that on the pod here.
Yeah. So right after that, first pitch throw, bomb to left field. Now, what did the announcer say, DJ?
The announcer had the audacity as the ball was hit to be like, "And there's a pop up." As the ball's leaving the stadium, and there's a pop up. Dude, are we watching the same game right now? That ball's flying out of the left field. Are you serious?
That's hilarious.
You're there at the game. You can see it. I'm looking on TV. I didn't see the ball for half a second. You guys got a half a second ahead of me.
I just don't understand, why immediate, it wasn't even half a second before it hit the bat. There's a pop up. There's what?
It's the Vanderbilt lovers.
Yeah.
Vanderbilt always loved within the game of baseball.
But I will never understand being that cocky on the mound because that can happen at any moment.
It's just karma. That's how it is. It works. We could say the same about Louisville when they played Vanderbilt last time. We saw what happened last time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, it worked well until it didn't.
Yeah.
So.
Obviously, with that being said, not a way you want to close that SEC conference play, but first game knocked out. Awful. You really wanted to make a little bit of a run in the SEC tournament, but with that being said, who knows what their chances look like with regionals? Drew said they're on the fence. I don't know at all.
So we'll just have to find out. The news is, I just looked it up. It looks like, I thought it would be announcing tonight, but it looks like they're announcing the regional host sites and the official bracket tomorrow at noon is when we will know everything. Now that's when we'll know if Murray State makes it, WKU makes it, or Kentucky makes it. Even Louisville, you never know, but I doubt it.
I did look up to make sure that we had no chance to make it before I announced it on the podcast, and it did say that Louisville was finished and there was no chance after losing Pitt. So
yeah, so we'll just have to look for the racers, the tops, and the cats. Yeah, we'll know tomorrow for sure, and then we'll post on our socials who makes it and what seed they have, and then we'll break it down next podcast on what their routes look like. How can they make Omaha? You know how we did with the March Madness bracket, hypothetical, how the Cats and 4 cards could make the Final Four national championship. That's what we'll do for the Bluegrass teams that make it, and see if they can make Omaha or not. So we'll do the hypothetical stuff there. But before I wrap it up, is there anything else you want to talk about?
No, I think that's pretty much it.
No, I'm
All right,
good.
well, this is a shorter episode. There's not much to talk about, not much going on in the sports world when it comes to the Bluegrass teams, but it is peak baseball season right now to the teams that do make it, and we'll be rooting on all the teams that make it, but yeah.
Let's say I've already passed my stay, but I just want to irk on something. If you're a pitcher, right, and you're not throwing a first pitch strike to the first 5 batters you ever see, I mean, even then, throwing 12 straight balls, that's all I got to say. And not taking the guy out, that's all I got to say. Sorry.
Well, we'll see how different things are next season, I guess, But I think that'll wrap things up here. Next podcast, like I said, we'll talk more about college baseball, and we'll talk about Kings Week 10. Hopefully they make the playoffs. We'll be rooting for them. But thank you all for watching. It means the world to us. Every view, every like, every subscription. Thank you all. Thank you for everything that you do. We will see you all next episode. Thank you.